Hi everyone, how are we all doing today? I don't know what number we're on of isolation, but I know it's over 2 weeks. Hi Hyatt. So today I thought I would talk about codependency. Well, I didn't think, it was actually one of my colleagues actually asked me to talk about it. Emily, I'm waiting on her coming on. So, codependency, big subject. Hi Rana. We all have it. We all have it on some level or another. What codependency means is that it's your inability to have a normal relationship. So you're always looking to be validated by others, always looking for their approval. You allow them to treat you badly. You know, there's no boundaries when you're codependent. I've been in many codependent relationships, so I know firsthand what that means. And it's like codependent people, they can't think for themselves. They're always looking for others to tell them that it's okay, or everything's going to be all right, or no, you need to do this, you're not doing it that way, and they just don't question it. They need other people's validation very badly. It usually comes from, hi Emily, hi Louisa. It usually comes from abusive childhood trauma. So the person is usually insecure. I had a relationship with a very, very, very codependent man that was sexually abused as a child. And at the time I kind of began to know what that word meant. And he really showed me very clearly what codependency is. And he made me his project. He had everything on paper. He was rich, he was good looking, he was fit, he was from a very influential family. And he made me his project, absolutely. And if my text messages weren't long enough, there was a problem. If I called him 2 minutes late, it was a problem. I mean, seriously, a problem for him. This is codependency, and that was really at the nth degree. And I really got to experience that, I guess, so that I could use it in my work and help other people understand it and free themselves from it. People, mother, father, sons, daughters, father, daughter, you get a lot of codependency within families. Like especially if the mother's been divorced or she's lost her husband, she'll then make her son the stand-in husband. And then the son has to take care of her and act like a husband without the intimacy. Equally, if it's the other way around, the mother makes the son the codependent. Hi boss, how are you? And you see it a lot. You see it a lot in families, this codependent relationship where it's like you depend on that other person, and without them you would be lost. And a lot of romantic relationships get into this, and it could become a real problem, and it's definitely not healthy. We all need to stand in our own power, be ourselves, set our boundaries. And the other label of a codependent person is that they are rescuers, they are healers, they want to save someone, they want to give you all the solutions to make your life better, even when you're not asking them. And they will let the other person step all over them, abuse them, treat them really badly, give them the crumbs of their life, and they'll still come back for more. I mean, that's really what codependency is. And it's very difficult to overcome it. It takes a lot of therapy, it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of understanding. Until you until that person can come to their own self-empowerment, that's when they can break the chain. But up until then, it's very, very difficult. And most people don't know that they're codependent. It's just they make it a lifestyle, a way of living, and they really can't see any other way. They don't think there's anything wrong with themselves, for one, which in itself is a problem, you know. So when I have clients and I see that within them, it's very, very clear. You know, the thing that you have to do to try and get out of it is recognize it first of all. Has anyone here ever had any problems with codependent people in their lives? You must have. Everybody has. And you could have been quite codependent yourself. I know that I have been in the past. Hi Zach, how's it over in the States? Are you coping? I'm still here in Dubai. We're talking about codependent relationships today. So would anybody like to share anything instead of me talking all the time? Yeah, we're all in quarantine, honey. We're all making the best of it. It's still bad. I saw that Trump said the next 2 weeks are going to be very difficult, and then it will be the light at the end of the tunnel. So if it's only 2 weeks, we just have to hang on and hope for the best, I guess. So who else has had a codependent relationship? I was very codependent in a relationship I was in for 3 years, where he was my best friend, but he also couldn't live without me. I mean, he had to ask me everything that he wanted to do before he did it. And so I became the male energy and he was the female energy, which is very bad in a relationship, either whether you become the male or the female, you know. And then that becomes a real drain on you. And by the end of my relationship with him, I felt completely and utterly suffocated. So it gets you like that. It's not sustainable. It will drain you in some way or another. Is fear of losing someone the same as codependency? Yes, because fear in itself is an illusion. Why are you in fear? What do you think that this person can give you that you can't give yourself? That's what you've got to ask yourself, you know? What is it? Why are you in fear of losing someone? It is codependency in some degree, because you think you can't live without that person. I mean, it's happened to me, not just in relationships, but with female friendships. And then when they go from my life, I realize actually how much they were blocking me. But you don't realize it while you're in it. You have to step out of it, and then you realize how codependent you were on this person and how they were actually dictating a lot of the way you live your life without you actually realizing it. Rana, is it something you can work on or best to walk away from? If you're the codependent, you can certainly work on it. But if you're in a relationship with someone that's codependent and they don't recognize it, run for your life. Run for your life. The relationship I was in for a very, very, very short space of time. I always remember a healer telling me that when I told him about this guy, and he says, Katrina, he is so codependent. He said, run for your life. And in the end, it was true, because although this person had went to many psychologists and many psychotherapists, he just didn't learn anything because he didn't want to. So, you know, you have to want to get better. You have to want to make that change for yourself. Nobody can do it for you. Yeah, exactly. The running emoji. That's what you need to just do. But it's a serious problem, especially in this society, where social media is so relevant, and a lot of the followers that people have, that's codependency, where they're following someone every day, waiting for their advice, waiting to see what they have to say. That is codependency. So it comes in many, many different forms. The definition, I would say, in a nutshell, is when you are dependent on someone else's recognition, when you're basing your reality on someone else's approval. That is codependency. So what you need to do is you need to recognize it, and you need to stand in your power, and then that helps you move away from it. And that's actually what I did, and it took me years and years to understand that that's actually what it is. But you'll see it a lot in families, with mothers and their sons, and with fathers and their daughters. If the parents are divorced, or if they lose another parent, their partner, they'll make that child their surrogate husband or wife. I've seen that happen a lot, and people very close to me, and it's not a good thing. It's really not a good thing. So plant your own seeds and make your own garden, because really, when you rely on other people, you're setting yourself up for a really big fall. Because people disappoint you in general. We all have expectations of what we expect from others, and we're always disappointed. What have I done? The screens went dark. Is it the same as being a needy psycho? Yes, darling, that's exactly what it is. Neediness is the same as codependency. It's another word for codependency, is neediness. So if somebody's needy, always looking for approval, that's codependency. And it's a big problem, especially in this society these days. So now you know what to look for. Be aware of it, and you know what to do about it, because it can become a real problem in your life. When you rely on others, we all have what we need within us. We all have the inner knowing to know what's right for us. We don't need anyone else to tell us this. And I was very guilty of it. Believe me when I tell you, I would always rely, especially female girlfriends, I would always go to them for advice. Is this what I'd always need approval? Do you think I'm doing this right? Do you think I'm doing that right? And in the end, sadly, they are no longer in my life, because as soon as I stood in my power, I realized that this actually wasn't working for me anymore, because it also serves them in a way. So they've got power over you. So a lot of people that like that kind of power, and again, it could be a subconscious thing, actually feed off you, because you need them, so it makes them feel important. So yeah, watch out for it, because it's in society, it's rife, it's all around us. It's with people you know. Hi Faisal. It's with everybody, so you really see it very clearly once you know what to look for, and recognize it within yourself and work on yourself. I can help you with that always, and it's a long road. It's not something that just happens overnight. You have to work on yourself. You have to look at the darker side of yourself. It's called the shadow, and you have to see where this is within you, because remember, the mirror effect, what you see in someone else is also within you. So don't ever point the finger. When you point finger, what happens? 3 point back at you. Yeah? So it's never about the other person. They're only showing you what you need to learn and work on within yourself. If it's a man, he's showing you the masculine side of your personality. If it's a woman, she's showing you the feminine side of your personality, generally speaking. So think about that the next time someone's upsetting you or making you angry. Step out of the situation and ask yourself, what am I learning from this? what is it that I need to learn? Because what you recognize in yourself is also within, what you recognize in another is also within you 1,000% of the time. So there's food for thought. So that's my emotional therapy, which I'm doing a lot more of these days.